This is a 2 terabyte hard drive straight off of Amazon that contains an emulation build on it. And this has to be the most plug and play build I have ever seen off of Amazon. And we're going to be taking a look at this today. So it's 2 terabytes. Initially, when the company hit me up to send this to me for review, I've reviewed tons of these things. My expectation was like, hey, it's going to be a bunch of retro emulation games, Super Nintendo, Genesis, you know, Dreamcast, stuff like that, right? It's a little misrepresented. Maybe in a good way, depending on how you want to look at it. I don't know how I feel about this because this goes way beyond what I've normally experienced with these hard drives. So we're going to be popping this thing in, testing it out. This is available on Amazon now for under $120. Freaking ridiculous for what you get here anyway. And like I said, it's extremely plug and play. This is a Launchbox build. So get the hard drive, get the cable, plug it into your PC, and get going, which is exactly what we're going to do. I highly recommend, Launchbox. I've used Launchbox for years now. It's a very highly customizable front end, and it's very easy to use. And I haven't really seen too many drives being pre-set up with Launchbox. I don't really like how this thing's got this RGB crap going on. It's a little distracting, so you may want to flip it upside down. I don't know if there's a way to disable that, but let's go ahead and get into this build. Okay, so once you open this up on the root of the drive, it's going to have something that says install me first. Most likely, you probably won't need to install this stuff. They're DirectX, that kind of thing. But there's only a couple things there in case you need it. You may not need it, but if you just go ahead and jump into it, the executable for Launchbox is right at the bottom, and then all the ROMs and everything's listed in this folder. And there is like a little user manual that you can go down, kind of talks about like adding games and stuff like that, and getting out of games, you know, pressing select and start. Really not much to it. So right now it's just loading the interface and launching everything. And holy crap, this is what I'm talking about here. So this drive, now this is not going to be one of those drives that has 100,000, 200,000, a million games. This has a small number of games, kind of like a best of. And I kind of like that. I do kind of like that. No duplicates, no craziness, and you can easily add more to it. But we've got 3DO, there's 44 games there. Nintendo 64, we've got 97 games. So you're not getting the full library of these games. Everything's pre-set up. Like I got my controller, I already tested this a little bit. I got my controller synced up to my PC here, and anything I load up, it just works perfect. I haven't had to set anything up. So Nintendo 64, then we got DS, 71 games, NES, so you know, all the typical stuff so far. 109 NES games, GameCube, we've got 92 games. And then getting into that, you know, I don't know what to say about it, but we got 17 of them Swizzitch games. What the heck? I've played them. They run. Oh my God. Nintendo Wii, we got 20 games. Wii U, a handful at 10 games. Dreamcast, 40 games. Sega Saturn, we've got 30. PS1, we've got 117 games. So there's some heavy hitters in here, some of the best in my opinion. But yeah, you know, you're not getting a complete library. PS2, we have 122 games. That's a lot of PS2 games. PS3, we got 21 games. Some fun stuff there. Oh, Lollipop Chainsaw, love that one. Love Lollipop Chainsaw. They're remaking that game. You know they're gonna butcher it, but hey, we could still play the old version. And then it says PS4. This is a little misleading in my opinion. I've only loaded 1 or 2 of these games, and they all ran perfectly fine. I don't think these are actually PS4 games. These seem to be games that were PS4 games that got ported to the PC for the most part, or most of these games, they were on PS4 and they're on PC. I loaded Spider-Man, that's the PC version. And then you have, but that there, it says 10 PS4 games. But like I said, I think they're just PC versions. PSP, we've got 94 games. Super Nintendo, we've got 70 games. And then Windows, the one that I was like along with like the Nintendo Switch, I was like, I don't know how I feel about this, man. Like, you know what I'm saying, or you don't know what I'm saying, but you got a lot of stuff here that I was just like, I don't know, man. Most of these games I already own. But I don't know. Like, you could add your own PC games to a Launchbox build if you want. I don't know how I feel about PC games, especially current stuff, coming preloaded on a drive like this. Like, I'm not against emulation at all. It's just kind of like, hey, some of these games are new, and I've played them on here, and they run perfectly fine. I already own them, but at the same time, it's kind of... I don't know what I feel about that. Normally, you know, I'm all for these drives and stuff like that, or emulating retro stuff that we don't have access to. But when we start getting into stuff like this, I'm a little weird about it. I feel a little weird. Just a little bit, all right? But let's go ahead and jump into a couple things and just see how this works. So I'll start with Wii U. Let me see. Mario 3D World. Just show you, you know, you just, boom, double click it, loads up. Let me turn the volume down. It's probably going to be really loud. And obviously, depending on your PC, is going to depend on the performance on some of this stuff. But I will be testing this drive on numerous like mini PCs and whatnot in the future. Right now, I have it loaded on that Intel NUC 12, which is a freaking amazing PC. You know, kind of a mini PC, I guess, but really awesome. I've been digging this thing. I did a video on it if you want to check that out. So yeah, everything I've played on Wii U, GameCube, all that stuff works just fine. But like I said, some of it will depend upon, you know, the power of your PC. You can tweak things if you need to, but just loading things up, just stock the way they are on this drive, I haven't had too much of an issue here. Not really any issue at all that I can recall. Everything's just loaded up and played. And we'll go ahead and load up Dragon's Crown on PS3 real quick. Some of these systems do take a moment to load up, you know, compiling the modules, that kind of thing. Typically Wii U, Switch, PS3, you do have to wait a moment for these games to load.
Here they come.
Man, I haven't played this game in ages, but I remember loving this one. So there you go. 2 terabyte drive being sold on Amazon with a selection of games, 1,000 games only. Not a crazy big build. I haven't had any issues running anything on this drive. They're just not upfront, and I understand why. You know, they can't advertise most of this stuff that they have on this drive. I'm speaking more on Launchbox as like definitely a great little starter setup that you can expand on. I always say, I think personally, it's better to build your own setup so you can learn the ins and outs. But I get it. Some people don't have the time. They don't want to download stuff, but they want to be able to play things like this. And there's tons of options on Amazon. Unbelievably so. You know, it's like, how can they sell something like this on Amazon? But they do. They don't advertise it exactly the way it is, but they're selling this stuff. And there's tons of games here, a lot of awesome stuff. It's just set up for you. I didn't do any installation or any setup. Everything just worked. All these games are awesome, but to me, it's a little questionable on some of the newer stuff that is included here. I mean, there's just so much. The PC stuff and then the PS4, I don't know how I feel about that. But hey, let me know what you guys think. Appreciate y'all watching. Bye.